If you have a dream of having more love, more joy, more connection, and more freedom to do more things with your dog, then sister, today's episode is gonna fire you up. You're gonna walk away from this episode ready to start creating a life that you love with your dogs, because once you do, there is no going back. All right. It's going to be good. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Kathy Kawalec, and I believe that our dogs connect us to the heart and soul of what really matters in life. So hang out, and we'll take a deep dive into the human-dog connection and explore strategies that will inspire you to create legendary, enlightened partnership with your dog. This is the Enlightened by Dogs podcast. Hello, I am Kathy Kawalec, your host of Enlightened by Dogs, and thank you so very much for joining me today. All right, so here we go. I want you to answer this with all the honesty in your heart. Are your eyes closed? If you can, close them for just a second. And answer me this. If you keep doing the same things that you're doing now with your dog, where will you actually be 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 6 months from now? If you're waiting until you have enough time, enough money, enough of fill in the blank for you to get serious about creating the life you dream of with your dogs, well, we know where that road leads, right? I mean, everything else just keeps taking priority. And we keep holding on to the hope that by some miracle, something will change, something will appear, but then months, well, in some cases, even years go by and nothing changes. What I'm trying to say is that the longer you wait until everything is perfectly enough, the less likely you'll ever be to start. And that, my friend, is just not an option. I'm speaking from experience. I know that when not enough thinking comes up, it's usually something else entirely. And most often, it's a limiting belief around what is possible and fear around making changes. We all have that, and it's totally normal. But that does not mean that we have to or that we should let it stop us from reaching for our dreams. I mean, I know that our lizard brain is powerful in her quest to keep us from changing anything in our life. And also, from years of experience, I know that for us dog moms, we are limiting ourselves based on outdated dog obedience culture, usually without even realizing that that's what's happening. So today, I thought we could just face the elephant in the room and debunk a couple of common myths behind the limiting beliefs and fears that are keeping so many of us dog moms stuck. Now, after 20 plus years of coaching and mentoring and instructing, I can truly say that partnership is the number one thing that has catapulted me to a level of success with my own dogs that I never could have imagined. And the same goes for many of my students. Now, with that, I want to share the 3 most common myths about how to live cooperatively with dogs that I hear so very often. If you dream of having a brilliant partnership life with your dogs and you want more love, more joy, more connection, and more freedom to do more things that you enjoy with your dog, then, sister, today's episode is going to get you fired up. You're going to walk away from today's episode fired up and ready to get started creating a life of brilliant partnership with your dogs, because once you do, you will never look back. All right, so stick with me as I debunk these 3 common myths that we have around dogs that we've been passed down. I have a feeling that you maybe have fallen for 1 or 2 or maybe even all 3 of these myths, and you know what? That's okay. So let's dive in and get started with myth number 1, which is that focusing on transactions and training behaviors is the most effective way to live successfully with dogs. I mean, our normal approach in our dog community is to train replacement behaviors for the behaviors that we don't want, right? And here's what that could look like for many of us. Barking at a passerby, at cars, at dogs, at squirrels, at people, at sounds, at the blender, at the vacuum, you get the idea. We would need to train a replacement behavior for all those different instances of barking. How about greetings? Greeting friends, greeting friendly dogs, greeting visitors, greeting strangers, neighbors, children, elderly, you, not friendly, whatever, right? All those greetings that don't go as we would prefer, we would be training a replacement behavior for each of those occurrences. Walking struggles. Our dog is too excited, pulling to say hi, pulling to get to the park, pulling to get back home, pulling to chase a bunny, pulling to sniff something, pulling back away from you, pulling to warn someone away in the front, like dogs and people and cars and bikes. Replacement behaviors for each of those things. Now, that's a lot, and that's a really short list. As you know, and you may be experiencing yourself, there's a lot more. Now, imagine needing to train an obedience replacement behavior for each of those new things to the level that is required to have an expectation that our dog will indeed be obedient and comply with our request, no matter what is happening around them. I mean, that is a tall order. And what about when we have multiple dogs, each needing to be trained separately? Like, oh my gosh, is it any wonder why obedience training doesn't work in real life for most of us? Because let's face it, unless you have a specific passion to be a dog trainer as your vocation, as your career, then most of us don't want to learn how to be an expert dog trainer. What we really want to learn is how to live effectively and successfully and cooperatively and peacefully and enjoyably with the dogs that we love. Am I right? Okay. So that is why so many of you are feeling so stressed out and so overwhelmed and feeling so often shamed and blamed for not having a dog that is obedient enough. Okay. So what is the remedy? Well, the remedy is that instead of focusing on transactions and training behaviors, let's go right directly, quickly and speedily and smoothly to the root cause of all these behaviors and meet the needs of our dogs as social mammals. And at the same time, we're meeting our own needs, right? So it's really awesome. It's such a simple thing, but we don't know what we don't know, right? Once our dog moms start focusing on understanding their dogs and digging under the surface for root causes and meeting the true needs of their dogs and themselves at the same time, things really start to turn around. Now, I can think of several of our BPs, our Brilliant Partners Academy members, that are experienced positive trainers like Deb and Sue and Cecile and Marie and Marika, just to name a few, that really tried to train their way to having a well-behaved dog, but it wasn't until they reversed their thinking that their dogs responded beautifully and simply. Learning the nuances of what it takes to retrain our brains, to release our old obedience demands and habits, and instead to build new habits of connection and trust and meeting social needs and tapping into our autonomic nervous systems and our social and cultural learning as social mammals. This is what we do in the Brilliant Partners Academy. And oh my goodness, I would so love to help you with this. It's really hard to do this on our own and to do this without expert guidance. This is exactly why I created the Brilliant Partners Academy, because there is such a strong need for having coaching and having someone to guide us, because we're learning a whole new paradigm, a whole new way of living with our dogs that is not dependent on obedience. I mean, us modern dog moms are ready to move beyond that old paradigm of obedience and compliance, no matter how positively it's trained or expected, right? And so I want to help you with this. This is my life's work. And as you could tell, I'm really excited about it. Okay. So let's talk about myth number 2, which is that you should lie to your dog. We keep trying, but it never works. I mean, if you've been trying to keep your dog under threshold by being on the lookout so that you could avoid triggers, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here. Now, the reason it doesn't work is that you are, in effect, trying to lie to your dog. You're trying to convince your dog that everything is okay, while at the same time, your actions are hypervigilant. You're watching out for any possible triggers. Your thoughts are all around looking out for danger. Your emotions are all about feeling anxious that you'll miss something, and then heaven only knows what will happen next. Everything you do is communicating to your dog that you are as worried about their triggers as they are. And I'll take this even one step further. You are demonstrating with your actions, your own behavior, your own thoughts and emotions. You're demonstrating to your dog that these things are your triggers too, and we have good reason to be looking out and being triggered by them. You're telling your dog, it's important to be on the lookout for danger. Danger can happen any moment. We should never, ever, ever let our guard down. You're telling your dog, you should believe me when I tell you that it's okay, even as I show you with my thoughts, emotions, and actions that I don't believe it myself. You're telling your dog, when we see danger, we should get away from it as quickly as we can because, well, it's dangerous. Oh, you know what? Your dog is too smart to believe you. Your social clues are glaringly obvious, and what's more, your nervous system is set to defensive mode. That means that you are not available for connection for your dog, and co-regulation and feeling safe and calm and happy is just not possible. So you and your dog only feed off of each other's signs of defensiveness. Oof. And what works instead? Partnership. being a loving leader that is self-regulated, confident, able to stay present and focused on connecting with your dog instead of focusing on what's out there. Being able to get back to grazing, being able to pause, breathe, connect. This is the work that we do in the Brilliant Partners Academy, learning how to be a brilliant partner today, creating our future one day, one baby step at a time. Following our roadmap to brilliant partnership gives you the confidence that you are indeed traveling in the direction of your dream life with your dog. All right. Let's talk about myth number 3. This is the myth that you are too busy, or that it takes too much time or too much effort or too much change to create a safe and calm and happy and connected partnership life with your dog. Now, okay, yes, it does take some time. Of course it does. But too much time? Absolutely not. I mean, think about the time that you are already spending worrying, trying to train or retrain, traveling to trainers or training class, setting up sessions, all the things, right? The way we have it set up in BPA that has worked successfully for over 1,000 dog moms so far is that if you devote 2 hours per week for doing a video lesson and a short assignment and attending a coaching call, you are on your way to a brilliant life. That is it. No traveling, no big classes, no setups, no training sessions. We are learning how to live in our daily life in partnership so that you don't need training sessions with your dog. Asterisk. Except for fun, except for the kind of training sessions that you want, agility training, rally training, trick training, whatever. That's different. That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about living a life of partnership and cooperation with our dogs that is not obedience dependent. Okay, so truly, that's it. Of course, you can devote more time if you want, above the 2 hours a week, but it's not necessary to get results. Plus, you could get really creative with listening to the replays and the videos while you vacuum, while you commute, while you wash dishes, while you're on your Peloton, making it easy to immerse yourself even more with no extra time. Okay, so as you can tell, I'm really fired up about this. How about you? I know how easy it is to get held back from living a dream life because of these old beliefs that we are carrying around that have been fed to us by this culture that is not us. We are not interested in living in a coercive, obedience-dependent life with our dogs. I mean, it is just not us. Obedience implies power over. That is not us. We are all about cooperation, connection, living a life together with our dogs and those that we love that feels good, that is not based on obedience. Am I right? That's why you're here. That's why you're listening to this podcast. And when I think about how easy it is for us to let our lizard brain and our old subconscious programming hold us back from living a dream life, I think, oh gosh, what if these myths were just dismissed long ago? What would life be like today? And how much easier would it be to start off without those old conditioned beliefs and myths as the obstacles that we are facing today as modern dog moms. And I want you to start right now. There is just no reason to delay. So here's the scoop. If you're listening to this episode when it goes live, the enrollment to my signature program, the Brilliant Partners Academy, is open. And it's in my program that I help you to overcome all the hurdles that are holding you back from creating a brilliant life with your dogs. So if leaving behind, relying on obedience, doing technical desensitization and counter conditioning setups, having a difficult dog and a stressful life, if you're interested in leaving that behind and creating a simple life with your dog that lights you up, a life that you're eager to wake up to and to continue to work toward every day because it affects everything else in your life, then let this be the year that you stop saying yes to the things that don't light up your heart and say a big, bold yes to the things that you love and to building a life of your dreams with the dogs that you love. The Brilliant Partners Academy is the bridge that will take you from where you are right now to a life of freedom and joy, connection, and fun with your dogs. Not only will your everyday life soon be filled with more love and cooperation, but you'll be well prepared to enjoy and even excel at your favorite dog sport or any activity that you love before you know it. Your success is inevitable. And I invite you to start saying yes to joining me in the Brilliant Partners Academy at dancinghearts.link/BPA. And I am so eager to support you and to watch your partnership with your dog blossom and shine. Thanks so much for listening. And hey, if you would like to work with me so that I can help you discover the missing pieces you need so that you and your dog can finally be happy and enjoy life together, then head on over to dancingheartsdogacademy.com and request your invitation to join us in the Brilliant Partners Academy when the doors open for the next enrollment. See you next time, and remember, a brilliant partnership with your dog makes your whole life brilliant.